roots, we can justify this dehumanizing and systematic agenda in the Oedipus formation, however little we may agree with it ourselves. If we were to look at Mao and Stalin biographically, the upbringings bear unmistakable similarities. Both grew up with aggressive, violent and bullying fathers, while their mothers were religious women who spoiled them emotionally. With this as their primary Freudian dynamic then, it is little coincidence that the Oedipus complex of communism managed to extend, maintain and perpetuate the situation with unfathomable impacts on lives of millions. The father figure. In the pragmatic pursuit of the power they established, both grew to distance themselves from the cultures each had inherited, whose personification they perceived in the gaze of their fathers. Mao rejected outright his expectation to follow in the family lineage of manual labour, and criticised the traditional arranged marriages in China as, and I quote, not at all compatible with the will of the children. This is a kind of indirect rape. Chinese parents are all the time indirectly raping their children. Did a politician ever make such a Freudian statement? Both went to excruciating lengths to reduce a society of systematic inertia, extensive surveillance, and censorious anti-traditionalism, whereby the proletariat was supposed to be the mere foil of the onward march of history. Like Hitler's reading of Nietzsche's Übermensch, the translation of theory into action was a hideous spectacle, and it is here we see the leaders differ. Most historians argue that there is little, if any, evidence that Mao was actually committed to Marxist ideology. There is no mention of peasant conditions or economic unfairness in his journals, articles, or private writings. His biographers point out for the young Mao Zedong, phrases like proletariat or bourgeoisie were part of the obligatory vocabulary, one that was commensurate with his environment, and this obligatory language is a topic we'll come back to. Meanwhile, Stalin's state was adept at cultivating the myth of a secret parallel power, invisible and for that reason all-powerful, that compensated for the blatant inefficiency of the public legal power and thus assured the smooth operation of the social machine. Repression creates revolt, and in the absence of a knowable past, the Lacanian real becomes a presence of omnipotent and uncanny importance. And so both rallied their regimes against history, against the father figure, Freud writes in The Uncanny, at whose hands castration is expected. Neither leader, by all first-hand accounts, batted an eyelid when their own fathers died, or visited their deathbeds. Yet as their story goes on, the Lacanian real of the past and the deathbed of both nations' traditions, despite the repressions enacted on them, proved more endurable than the systems they produced. The mother figure, the future. How, put simply, does totalitarianism happen? Is it an organic process or achieved by design? How does utopia operate? And how does the striving for